Right, okay. So, hello and welcome to the FPV Roundtable, episode number 4, where once again I'm joined by Stacey, Tristan, and Dave. And today's episode is focused on freestyle FPV, what it is, the different aspects of it, and things like that. So, we'll get stuck right in with topic number 1, which is what is FPV freestyle? Is it tricks? Is it all about smooth flying? Doesn't matter, it's just being creative? What do we think? What is FPV freestyle? Stacey, you're our freestyle guy. What do you reckon?
I think it's probably all of the above, to be honest. When I think of the term freestyle, I mean, there's a kind of a wide variety there. So for me, freestyle is more about like artsy, I guess, a little bit of here's tricks you can do, but kind of putting it all together into something that's kind of enjoyable to watch. I know when I got started way back, freestyle probably resembled more like the skateboarding stuff, where the guys they'd do tricks and they'd show off what types of tricks they can do. And so there was a whole lot of that. And so like people would fly with like really high rates because they wanted to see how many different tricks they could do and put them all together. I know there was people would do like the Rubik's Cubes through the gaps, really fast, and just whatever way they could, do a trick through a gap. That was kind of like, the thing that everybody was doing. How fast can you do this trick? How fast can you do that trick? How many tricks can you put together before you crash? Type of scenario. And then it kind of, I don't know if it evolved into something different because of the cameras and stuff and people showing it. But I think it's kind of evolved more to where it's a more artsy now. There's still a lot of, people that would look at it. If you can do this trick or you can do that trick, then you're doing freestyle. If you're not doing X trick or Y trick, then it's not freestyle. Then it's something completely different. But for me, really, I mean, the term free, in there, it's just a matter of expressing, whatever through it,
That's kind of, I would be looking at it along the same lines as yourselves. When I first got into drones, there were certain tricks that everybody was doing, just like with the skateboard and you pop, shove it, and all that kind of stuff. I'm not a great freestyler. I like to dabble in everything, so I've never actually spent enough time trying to learn Matty flips and all of these kind of things. I don't even know if I could do an inverted yaw spin, which I suppose is one of the basics.
Right.
So I don't know whether that means that I'm just crap at freestyle or whether I don't actually do freestyle.
That's the thing. It's like, well, there's a ton of tricks that I know the technical aspects of how to do them, but I haven't really bothered to try to really do them. Or when I have tried to do them, I'll fail miserably, and then I'm like, doing this trick, is it really worth breaking stuff repeatedly to be able to pull off, whatever it is? Do I find this? Some people find the challenge of being able to do something, that's what drives them. And so they'll, like Phantom FPV, for instance, he's got a whole Trictionary that he did. He went through like all these different tricks. It's like hundreds and hundreds of them, like all in like one video. He put them all together, all these ones of pulling up all these different tricks. And now I don't see any videos from him. Like, it's like, I mean, he's still flying, obviously, but I think the drive to do those tricks and stuff, now you don't have any drive behind it to do that.
He posted not so long ago, actually, for the first time in a while. And what his video was all about was him trying this absolutely crazy sort of trick through a gap that involved him, coming backwards through it and all that kind of stuff. So I think it has evolved. It's just evolved, evolved in difficulty, if you like. So linking these tricks together, so.
Yeah, you get to a point where at some point it's like the difficulty is going to get to where you can't do it, or it's going to be really, really, really hard. So, I mean, if that's what drives you, then that's great. I mean, for me, that doesn't really drive me. I like to just make something that's enjoyable to watch, or at least I think it's enjoyable to watch. I know some people wouldn't. But that's kind of what I like to do. I know there was a guy who used to follow me. He doesn't do FPV now. He's into more extreme sports. I think his name was Barry FPV, and he'd always comment on my videos and stuff. And he always said it looked like birds dancing or something. He was a little tongue in cheek, a little ribbing me and all that kind of stuff. But that was kind of like his take on my flying. It was more in a creative sense, and that was years ago. But
well, that's an interesting point, because for me, freestyle is like dancing, and obviously there are hundreds of different styles of dancing. Tap dancing, ballet, hip hop.
Yep.
You name it, dancing. And so I was about to say, each one has their own merits. Now, obviously, me doing a dad dance at a wedding is far less skillful than somebody, spinning on their head, or somebody doing a pirouette.
Yep.
So, okay, there are certain skill levels, but I mean, does it matter when it comes to FPV freestyle whether you're doing Rubik's cubes or just flow with minimal amount of actual tricks? As long as you're enjoying yourself and you're being creative. Or is there a hierarchy?
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of, if you are enjoying what you're doing and you want to, share it with others, great. If you don't want to share, you just enjoy, doing it, that's kind of what it is.
You've got it right there, Stace, that's what it is. To me, you nailed it on the head. It's about Lords of Dogtown, guys getting creative and inventive like that from the skating thing. You look at guys like, Chapu and Johnny FPV and, Farouk and all those guys, they were inventive and pioneers of what they were doing. And, and there's all the sub-factions that come from that. You've got your S-Bang, you've got your traditional freestyle, and it's, an expression, it's a presentation, and it's things like that. And, for me, I love playing tunes when I go freestyling and stuff, and it's about what you want to get out of it, and it can be very different. Instead of trying to do what everyone's doing, do what you get into a groove, get into a flow with and stuff like that. And, it's an expression thing, instead of going and burning 100 packs trying to learn how to do a juicy flick. You may not do it the textbook way. Does it feel good for you? Okay, cool. Tick.
Yep. Exactly.
Is your quad still in one piece? Yep. Tick.
Exactly.
Dave, do you think we've peaked in terms of kind of those tricks? There was a list of 50 tricks that every FPV person needs to know. Nah. Is that list still growing, or are we have we peaked now, and it's all about how you thread those tricks together? Is where the creativity is, or are there guys out there still creating tricks? Or
I think that they're probably jumping on this one, and this is probably a very opinionated personal thing, but I think that we have peaked, and there's too many people copying, trying to copy, the founders and other people and stuff like that, and going and buying a drone and doing 1,000 packs, and they're getting really good and getting a great skill set, but wanting to become a digital content creator, and I saw a recent thing, a guy went on a thing somewhere to over in Spain or Italy somewhere, and FPV Tribe magazine commented on his video and pretty much said it was crap. And I watched it, and cool, the guy looked like he was having fun and stuff, but regarding like the editing and stuff like that, and what he had done, it was like, well, if you're comparing it to some guys that have been doing it for 10 years, it's not in that caliber. Like, what do you want to say? You can't have that instant justification.
Yep.
But what do you think about that, Don Stace?
Yeah, I mean, it's. I'll kind of comment on the whole, the negativity thing, because I've been a recipient of it, and I kind of dished it out once, but not like in a mean way. But I did kind of dish it out. Mostly, let me kind of, I guess, tell the story. I don't know if I told the story or not before, but so there was a guy that he commented on one of my videos, and basically he was trying to give me some sort of tips or whatever on what I needed to do to make my video better, my flying better or whatever. And, I mean, generally I take those with a grain of salt, and I'm like, sure, no problem, whatever. And then, because it's like, it's my flying, it's not yours. If you're being constructive and want to like, see me improve in some particular aspect, then fine. But usually it's not that. Usually it's someone who has a ulterior motive behind what they're saying. They want to make themselves feel better by making you feel worse about yourself.
Yeah.
They're kind of doing it in an offhand way to where it looks like, oh no, I'm trying to help him. So, and that was
Make
kind of the vibe that I got.
clever.
Yeah, that was kind of the vibe that I got from him. And so I went to his channel and, pulled up one of his videos or watched a couple of his videos. I mean, they were, he was having fun. Obviously, you could tell he was having fun, but the flying skill was definitely, not the same point where I was as far as like, and I'm no good, obviously, but he wasn't quite to that point yet. And so I took one of his videos and I made a commentary video. It's like, and I did it in such a sarcastic way that people that followed me for a long time, they were watching it and they were like, what are you seeing that's so great about this video? Because I was like talking about how awesome it was and all this stuff. And they're like, what are you seeing that's so great? This is terrible. And so I had to like let them know, I had to kind of get them in on the joke and stuff. But then one guy figured it out and he called me out on it and he gave me a hard time. I was like, dude, I'm just having some fun, because the guy clearly didn't listen. Like, I was like, dude, this is fine. That's great. That's your opinion. But he just kept going on and on. So finally I was like, all right, let me go pull your videos up and, we'll just have some fun with it. So I did that. And I think that's a big problem though. I mean, online humor and stuff doesn't always come through. And people don't always get it, particularly with commenting. People don't always, you can't tell what the intent is. It's just words on a screen. You don't know the inflections in their voice. You might read it. You're like, somebody might make the comment that said, that was great. And you could read it like, that was great. Or that was great. And I mean, the inflection makes a big difference.
Sincerity or sarcasm.
Yeah. And if you don't know what the intent is behind the person, then you can take it for whatever. You could take it the wrong way, which a lot of us do many times. But I guess kind of get back to the point of freestyle and the tricks and what you can do and what you can't do. Someone's opinion about what difficulty something is. So like, there's difficulty obviously in doing certain tricks. There's difficulty in flying without doing tricks. I challenge some of the people who do videos where they do trick after trick after trick after trick. It's like, fly the same spot, do it without doing all the tricks, and make it interesting. Like there's a different skill level in each aspect of it. And if you find someone's flying boring, try to do what they're doing. And I know Phantom did that once, and he tried to make like some cinematic stuff, and it was okay, but it definitely wasn't the same.
It's what sets apart the greats from the goods for me. I mean, it has to be the full package. I mean, freestyle for me is about the one pack. It's about the search for that perfect pack. Now, what does that mean?
Yep.
That's very personal, isn't it? It's what it means to you. I mean, for me, I don't know what my perfect pack is yet. It might have a few tricks in there, but really it's gonna put a smile on my face from the start to the finish when I look back at it. That's freestyle for me. And yes, there are rules around tricks. Your inverted yaw spin should be flat, that sort of stuff.
Yep.
I mean, that's not to say that there's exceptions to those rules, of course, but
Right.
I think there is, your split S should be, a split S, that sort of stuff. I think that's quite important. And it's the same, we used the analogy for skateboarders a while ago. They've got exactly the same stuff, A pop shove it is a pop shove it. It's not like, but you'll know that yourself. I mean, it's a very personal thing, freestyle. But as soon as we start putting it onto YouTube, then it becomes, look, this is what I'm creating. It becomes then the art. And art's going to have critics. Yeah. Art is going to be very personal to the person who's watching it, So
Absolutely.
you got to take the criticisms from your really technical guys who say, oh no, but that's not an inch perfect yaw spin, or the aux plumes of the world who are just all about flow. I mean, it's so different. I mean, I think Stacey, you've probably learned as well that you've just got to take it, and choose to just accept that people are going to love it or hate it, no matter what you do online. And yes, there are going to be those characters out there that are going to just be out there to shoot you down. But that's what the block button's for me. Those guys don't get a look in.
Do you think then? Do you know how at ice skating in the Olympics, each person goes out and there's a set of judges and they're judging it on the technicality. They're judging it on the artistic merit of the dance. Plus, then there's 3 or 4 particular moves that the skater has to do within their routine. Do you think us as a community and as a whole should try and come up with a set of rules or guidelines that for, if you're uploading a freestyle video, we should say,
who's going to set these rules, though?
I know.
That's it.
No, I know. I know.
The whole thing.
But maybe we'll all eventually migrate. But that's, I guess,
for a competition.
But that's how we should be.
Yeah, I think that's different.
But then maybe that's how we should be.
If it's in the Olympics, if it's going to be an Olympic sport, then it has to have those sort of tangible sort of yardsticks to measure people against. But that's not where we're at with freestyle.
Do you know how the Australian Freestyle Championships were measured as the winner? How they verified the winner?
No, I don't.
Reaction from the crowd, cheer from the crowd.
There you go.
That dictated
that's
the winner.
a great idea.
That was nothing to do with execution of tricks or whatever, because they had the live feed going on the big screen and all the rest of it, and it was who got the biggest cheer from the crowd and the best response.
Yeah.
That's a great way of doing it, in my opinion. Yeah.
It wasn't about points of, yes, he did, an inverted yaw spin, there goes the Rubik's Cube, he just successfully completed 3 Matty flips.
I'm pretty sure I saw a competition in the States recently, actually, where the guy that actually won, it was similar to what you're describing, Dave. He had some problem with his goggles, so he had to do his freestyle run line of sight. And, yes, exactly. I wish I could. I'll try and find the link after the podcast. You guys should have a look at that. But I think he ended up doing really well in the competition from exactly what you said, Dave, just because it was just gobsmacking his skill set, what he could do without the goggles. Yeah. But yes, it wasn't about what tricks he did then, obviously, and that sort of stuff. It's about the beholders, isn't it?
But
it's one of those things then when we're all watching each other's freestyle videos on YouTube, is it something then that we need to have just in the back of our mind and saying we don't just watch this for the pure technicality? Is there an artistic element to it? Is there a creative element to it? And we all just as a whole just need to obviously if it's being presented as a truly here's how you do this trick, then it's all about the technical aspect of it. But if it's just some guy that's uploaded a one-pack flight, we need to view it with each one of these different criteria as a whole.
I'm not so sure about that. I mean, it's possible. We pointed out before, I think it's possible to have a really, really nice flowy video without many tricks in it. I don't think it needs to be. It must have X, Y, Z trick in it and that sort of stuff. No,
but that's what I mean. So somebody that's watching that and says, "But you didn't do any tricks." And you say, yes, but the point of this was I was being creative and there was flow and it was...
Right. They were looking for a particular, their expectation of what it should be is different. I guess that goes back to that that initial question of what is freestyle. Yeah. So in someone's mind, when they go to watch this video, they see the title, they see the thumbnail, they look at it and they're like, okay, I'm expecting this. And if they don't get whatever they're expecting, then they don't like it. On occasion, you might be expecting something else. You get something totally different, and it surprises you, and you find that you do like it, even though it wasn't what you were expecting. But I think that's probably more rare.
Should that person be more open-minded as to what freestyle is? Or is it a case of, no, I think freestyle is all about the technical trick and I don't care about anything else? Right. Is that equally as valid? Or actually, is this one of these situations where you say, no, hold on a second, freestyle is freestyle, and you didn't enjoy the video because you want to see technical aspects more prominent, but that's not to say that a flowy video with very little tricks it still warrants the title freestyle. Do we need to be more open-minded to all of that, do you think, or am I barking up the wrong tree?
Well, you have to be more open-minded to it, but also the people publishing this content, that they need to be more open-minded as well, of going their expectations of, if they're going and publishing something and putting it out there for people, they need to be able to, look hard at themselves and go accept what's coming back at them if you're putting out there and going against Mr. Steele and trying to compare yourself after buying a drone 12 months ago and, you get a bit of flack, so be it. That's on you. You've got to, a lot of people are expecting too much too quick. They're doing it for the wrong reasons, trying to validate themselves, whatever. And, man, for me, a couple of guys going out together, sitting on the back of the ute, the tailgate down, sharing each other's feed and thing and, cheering each other on or doing a great chase video and things like that. That's what it's about.
Yep.
Well, that kind of brings us on to topic 2 then. Do FPV videos lack creativity? Given what we've all just discussed then, when we upload our freestyle videos or our videos in general, is there then a lack of creativity or a lack of messaging to let the viewer know, actually, this is an artistic flow with very little tricks? Or is it the fact that videos have just all become so samey that we've lost the nuance within that kind of artistic license? Everything's, as you had pointed out earlier, Dave, people are just trying to copy the big guns and they're falling short, and so their videos look not as good. They look a bit crap. Is it just a packaging, like the message is wrong and they should be saying, look, I'm aiming for here, but I'm somewhere in between and I'm happy enough with that? Is it just, have we lost creativity in our FPV videos? What do you reckon, Dave?
Dave's back. Short and simple, yes. People trying to copy each other and, it's all driven from brands trying to copy each other and, with different gear and stuff. I think now it's also come down to is 60% how good of a pilot are you, 40% how good of an editor are you for doing, editing and post-production. And look, that's easy for me to say, look, I'm a no one that's got, I don't really go and post my freestyle stuff, but, I go and do stuff with friends and I enjoy what I do and have a great time. But that's what I want to get out of it. But from the stuff I watch, if, the really, really, really great pilots, are the ones that share and publish their stuff. And it's like, you sit back and watch it and you're like, wow, man, I almost watched an emotional movie, the Titanic, Leonardo on the front, feel all emotional about it, but
I'm not sure if I've ever felt quite that way about freestyle, but you never know.
I got to send you some videos, man. And I know a couple of them.
I'm just not finding the right videos.
Yeah, that's exactly it. But to the ones of, I felt really sad for one guy. Like, I saw it and like, he did something so cool. You know, he's got busted gear and he's got no money and all the rest of it. And he's like, cool. He had a cracked filter on the front of his lens. And he went, screw it, and left it on there and posted it. And I was like, this guy's got like one tree in his yard. And with how creative he's gotten with that one tree and that cracked filter, it was a whole different element of art to me. Like, it was amazing, like, you know, and stuff like that. And instead of, it's opinionated, cool, what, you know, ND filter should you be using in that conditions? You know, you've got too much motion blur, you've got not enough motion blur and stuff like that. And I, as the number one saying is, do it for you and have fun doing it. Yeah. Get passionate about it. Don't do it for views. Don't do it to try and get free gear and worry about your algorithms and your stats and all the rest of it. Like, that's what the whole spirit of the thing is. Like, you know, the Lords of Dogtown, like the boys, Stacey, like, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They did it for them and their mates and just have a cruise, have fun and kick it. Like, that's
so we kind of need to be. Everybody needs to approach this with more artsy rather than scientific. We've all looked at our motor KVs and we've all done the calculations about, you know, because FPV is all around electronics and science and physics and all of that. And is it time then that we kind of just calm down a little bit when it comes to the science and kind of lean a little bit more into the art side of things and produce something that may not be scientifically perfect, but that's what art is.
You're absolutely right there, Tom. I mean, this is freestyle. I mean, if you take, for example, motorbike racing, okay? You know, what we're not trying to do here is make the fastest quad. We're not trying to make the most agile quad. We're trying to make a bit of art. So yeah, a step back from the science. Now, I'm just gonna mention as well, I think the post-processing should be a part of the whole thing too. I mean, certainly for me, it's one of the fun things about FPV is putting the footage onto the screen. I mean, if we compare it to the skateboarders, for example, like Dave, you mentioned, the Dogtown guys, you know, they were able to do tricks in front of their mates and, you know, be cheered on by their mates. It's very, very difficult to do that with an FPV drone. I mean, okay, we can look at the screen, we can share the goggles and stuff. But a lot of people fly, you know, on their own or just with one other, just with a spotter. And that sort of element of, you know, sharing with your mates is done by the presentation of the video. So in a way that I think should be part and parcel with the whole freestyle experience, you know, how you process, you know, because you can have real good fun post. I mean, you know, like you mentioned about the cracked filter, Dave, you can also, you know, sort of mess around in post-processing. I mean, maybe that should, you know, I understand that's controversial what I'm saying because it's no longer about the piloting anymore, but, you know, maybe that should be, you know, sort of part of it too. It's about making that emotional video, you know, getting that wow factor. You know, the first Johnny FPV videos were just, oh my goodness me, we've never seen anything like that before. I mean, you know, how do we do that again? How do we keep recreating those moments, you know?
Well, Stacey, you put out a video there yesterday, the day before, which is something completely different when it comes to a freestyle video.
Oh, yeah.
Completely different from what I've seen recently. What was your thought process in putting that together?
So
just go nuts?
Yeah, basically. So I've been playing with AI music here lately, and so I've been having a lot of fun, you know, coming up with stuff with lyrics and stuff that are kind of, you know, around FPV. And I was playing with it, and I had a couple that I really liked, a couple of the tunes I really liked, and I was like, I want to come up with some way of taking that song and then putting some video footage to it. But I have in my mind what I think it should be, and my flying's not up to that spec, right? Or I don't have the places that would be up to spec to be able to pull off some, you know, epic, you know, flying. And so I was like, I want to do something interesting with it, with what I have. So I went back through the footage that I had, and I have to delete it because I don't have a lot of space. So I have like, I don't know, about 6 months worth of flying or whatever on the hard disk. And so I found within the program that I'm using, it has this auto sync feature. And so I took all these clips and stuff, and I threw them in there, and I'm like, let me see what it comes up with. And it came up with something that was like, it was pretty crappy. So then I was like, okay, let me see if I can make it do it better. So I spent like all day like going through, narrowing down clips, and then feeding it into it to see what it would come up with until I finally got something that was basically what I wanted. Then basically took it and fine-tuned it, because it would create a whole timeline for you. And then you can go back and you could re-edit the timeline however you wanted. And so I went back to the timeline, then just made, tweaks here, tweaks there, with it, and then did some more post-processing. And it's an interesting result. It's kind of fun to watch. My son was watching me. He comes in periodically whenever I'm editing and stuff, and he's like, "Oh, you're working on that?" And he was watching it, but he couldn't hear it. Like, he couldn't hear the music. I had the headphones on. He couldn't hear the music, and he looked at me, he goes, "I don't like it." I'm like, "That's all right. You don't have to like it." So, I was like, "It fits with the music." He goes, "I'll take your word for it." He goes, "I don't like it." He walked off. But I guess that's a big part of when you put something out there. I kind of expected the same reaction. I'm like, I figured there'd be some people who would like love it. Some people might like the music. Some people was going to look at the editing and go, "That is awful. How can you even watch that?" But it is what it is. It's, I don't know. I kind of like it myself. It's different. It's not something for everybody, obviously, but
It meant a lot to you.
And it's not something I'm going to be doing all the time, because that was a lot of work. It was a lot of work.
Is that part of the problem, do you think, why there is a lack of creativity in FPV videos? Because it is a lot of work.
Definitely.
Yeah. And myself included, I'm lazy 90% of the time and proactive 10% of the time.
Yeah.
A lot of the time it's easy just to upload a pack, fire a track over the top of it, and, move on to the next project.
That meant a lot to you, though, didn't it, Stacey?
What's that?
You enjoyed doing it, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
It meant a lot to you.
That was probably the most fun I've had in editing. I mean, it was a ton of work, but I enjoyed the editing, which I usually don't.
That's what I mean. Like, the guys out there, like, going and using DJI Action 2 cameras or the GoPro 3s and stuff, and getting crucified because they're not in 10-bit color and, don't have a full frame, and it's like, they're making do with what they have. They're having fun, man, and they're kicking it and stuff like that. And I remember when it was a trend to go and, like, put grind plates on your drone. And I went through a phase of trying to, do grinds on park benches with my drone and stuff. And you'd hear, we have these, like, aluminium benches in Australia, and you go to do a grind, and all you can hear is this big bang, and, like, it's like hitting a tuning fork as, you're going past. But, and for sharing, like, I guess in Australia we've got like a pretty the group I'm involved in, we're a pretty like close-knit group and stuff, and there's about 30 of us, and that's where we share our stuff. And a couple of the guys, they go and punch out their YouTube videos all the time, and other people, no, they go and, just share in there and things, but we create our own environment that we want.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Yep.
So,
I think...
I had a friend. When I first got into it, there was a guy that I ran into that was... he was working at the local hobby store. And the hobby store was basically just all ground vehicles, and he was flying FPV, and he kind of got the owner to start selling some FPV stuff. And so I ended up finding him through that, and he was a really, really good pilot, but he never posted anything ever. He just went out and fly, and I mean, just amazing skills. So there's tons of people out there that are amazing pilots that we've probably never seen or never even heard of, and you wouldn't even know it. And they might even be commenting on your videos and giving you harsh criticism, and you're like, well, what do you got to show? And they just never show anything, but they might have like skills beyond that you don't even realize.
Definitely. The dark horses. I think I think it's a. I think another
fun.
thing that we should sort of validate as well is the time and the effort that people put into some of this stuff. I mean, goodness me, Stacey. I mean, you've been at this for years, yeah. And I aspire to your freestyle. I think it looks, amazingly flowy, and that's the sort of thing. But that's taken you. I imagine it's taken you a long time to develop that style. And
yeah, and I'm
there you go. Yeah, I mean,
either,
you're your own harshest critic, no doubt. But I think in a way it sort of maybe leads us on to the next topic, in that we should be honest about the way that we present our freestyle too, so as we don't sort of step on toes. I see a lot of videos out there, that look really good at sort of face value, really, especially on the technical side. I'm talking here, less about the art side, where stabilisation is used to sort of iron out all these wobbles and stuff like that. And that for me, yes, I mean, we all want our videos to look amazing, but it's when you start not mentioning that you've done that I can see how that would step on someone's toes that spent years and years trying to iron out these things with the sticks. So yeah, stabilisation. How do you guys feel about using it for your videos?
Yeah.
For me, I always try and be honest when I use it. I think it's a really important tool. If you got a little wobble here and there that just ruins a really good arty video, then of course use it. It's a tool that's there for. But if you're doing this sort of Phantom FPV style, technical showcase of your skills, then you need to say whether you're using stabilisation or Rocksteady or stuff. I think I see a lot of stuff out there that doesn't. Yeah, it's obvious they do.
Mm-hmm. It's one of those things. When I first started in FPV, and I was watching other videos, and then I was starting to post my own videos, I listed every bit of kit that I used. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't do it as much anymore, but what settings I use, gyro flow stabilization, the whole list colored, in Resolve, the whole thing was there in the description. Now, whether people read descriptions or not is another thing, but at least it was there. Now, over time, or I'm just uploading a pack and putting music on it with doing very little edits, I kind of don't do that as much anymore. But yeah, maybe people should start doing that again. If they're using stabilizer, maybe they just assume that, freestyle, we use stabilization all the time. It's a given. I don't need to list it. But maybe we should go back to start listing. I think it probably
depends what you're doing
on our settings.
If your video is this really sort of technical, tricky style flow, if you like, then I think you should be mentioning things like that. It's funny. I used to do the same as you and list all the components of the drone and all this kind of stuff, and I stopped doing it. And actually, I do get comments now and again saying, "Oh, it's nice to see what the drone's made of." I might be posting something completely different. So I think people do read that kind of stuff and I do find it interesting. But it's just be honest about what you're doing. I think is an important thing. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
I think, just as a side, I stopped listing my stuff because people would be asking, "Oh, what settings are you using, or what antenna are you using?" I'd be like, "It's in the description." What's the point of me going to the effort of putting it all in the description if people don't read the description and then they're asking afterwards? So in the end, I was just like, "Oh,
yeah."
And I did have a notepad listed up with each of my quads, all the settings that I could just copy and paste it in. But just so it was no effort. But I just decided, I couldn't be bothered with this because people aren't reading the description anyway.
I quit doing that in my video descriptions because at one point my stuff was changing like every other day, or like it would be a Franken quad because like I broke this and I had to put this on there. And I would try to update that, and I got kind of tired of it. So now I create a little website for myself. I just list the gear that I use, and I'll update that if I change stuff around. But it's basically got what and because I'm not flying a bunch of different drones, I'm flying one drone basically, and so this is what I'm flying, and but it's kind of funny. There was a funny story talking about the stabilization and being honest with all that kind of stuff. Way back in the early days when Johnny FPV, people would like watch his stuff and they always wanted to know, how did he get everything so smooth or all this stuff. He made a video, and I think it was a little bit of here's what I'm doing, but also a bit of tongue in cheek, if you will. And so he's like at this little coffee shop, and he's telling everybody, this is what I'm doing. This is the trick that I'm doing to get all this, smooth video. And he takes out a roll of electrical tape, and he's putting electrical tape over the motor holes, making these little strips. And he's hitting the motors on there. He goes, this gets rid of all the vibrations in the drones.
Soft mounting motors.
I think he did it in a way. I don't know if I still to this day I don't know if he was being serious or if he was being facetious, but there was a time when everybody started because of that they were putting tape on the ends of their drone where the motors are to get rid of vibrations. Because of
that. Soft. God, that's going back.
I think in terms of should we use stabilization in freestyle, I don't have a problem with it. I think if it's obviously there or obviously not there, then you don't need to mention anything about it because it's obvious. If you've just got a little bit of stabilization just to kind of take the edge off, then I think that should be in the description.
Yeah.
Because you'll get people that'll be, ripping their quad apart, spending hours and hours and hours trying to tune the bloody thing, only to find out that you've got 20% stabilization on just to take that edge off.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where I stand on it. If it's obviously on or off, don't worry about it because it's obvious.
I don't have a problem with people using it myself. It's heck, I don't care if they mention it, if they use it.
Usually you can tell.
Sometimes it depends. It depends on how heavy the stabilization is. There's some telltale signs usually, with dives and stuff that you can kind of tell when the certain moves will look a little weird, like it just has the physics don't look right or whatever. But sometimes it's useful. Like way back, I'd got into doing stuff using the GoPros, and I had a GoPro 6. This was way back. And what was the stabilization in that GoPro? What did they call that? It was
Real Steady Go.
No, that was the Hyper Smooth.
Hyper Smooth.
Yeah, and so that was like everybody would turn that on, and the telltale sign obviously was if props were in view, you could see it. So people were like constantly trying to keep props out of view. Yeah. But I went flying with a buddy of mine, and my drone, I had a ton of fun flying, but my drone flew like crap, and it had so many vibrations and stuff. Like it was just, I couldn't get rid of them that day for whatever reason. It was just, but I was having fun. And so I turned on that Hyper Smooth on the GoPro because there was just so much, because I wanted to see what it did. And it was amazing how much it got rid of. Like it got rid of all of these weird vibrations and shakes and stuff from my drone. And the footage looked, watchable, because prior to that, it was not watchable. So, I think there's a time and place for it. It depends on, what you want to do. I don't like it for freestyle usually, though, because of the weird effects that it does. And it's not so much the smoothing as it is. Usually those programs want to do, like, weird stretching. Like they try to, take out the fisheye and stuff out of it. I think that's where most of the weirdness comes in with the freestyle. Like if the fisheye was still there and you still had it, it would be fine. The problem is it's going to zoom in the camera so much to get rid of a lot of those wobbles that it's not going to be watchable. This kind of
zooming effect as well. Actually, kind of zooming effect looks weird for me. Like you're speeding up sometimes and slowing down.
Kind of come in and
it's distasteful. Mm-hmm. But beauty is in the eye of the beholder, though. I mean, you're your QC, aren't you? If you think the video needs a bit of stabilization, stick it in.
Yep.
For sure. But
I've only got two things.
I think though, if people are leaning really heavily on stabilization, then they should kind of go all the way. Be a bit more artistic with the edit. The zoom in factor.
Oh, yeah.
I think I normally have mine set to 7. Is it 7 milliseconds? So it's quite a, or is it more? Anyway, it's quite a slow zoom. Mm-hmm. I wonder, could we crank that up so it's really fast and use it as an artistic tool rather than something that's just kind of
But then don't try and compare
the
yourself to
blemishes.
Phantom FPV. I think this is where we've kind of branched off, isn't it, with freestyle? There's different facets. It's like the elements of hip hop, isn't it? It's kind of branched off a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've actually. Yeah, I've only got two views on like stabilization, and it's like I don't give two hoots if you use it or you don't. Like what you're making's for you. Like that's about it. And talking about like fisheye effect, some of the coolest videos, and this is something I've just started playing around with, is aftermarket lenses on digital and like full fisheye effect deliberate. And yeah, like you get a bit nauseous when you're flying occasionally. But it's just something cool and different and playing around with. And like, let's face it, when was the last time someone actually went and used, I actually do know Tom uses like DVR for, what he's showing and what he's, uploading and stuff like that because, he can't fit an action camera on a Whoop. But
challenge accepted, Tom.
People, they're relying on what their action camera does. Yeah. But like, people actually uploading their DVR, not the camera, And man, just whatever you want to do it for you, do it for fun.
Yep. Oh, exactly.
Oops, someone's got music.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't even know what that was.
Oh, I had that a little while ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, it's funny we're saying about the DVR and the stabilized footage, because I remember having a conversation with a guy a couple of years ago about the merits of true cinematic footage, this, that, and the other. And one of the guys that I pointed out where you don't need to necessarily go to a full lot of effort was Falconrad and his long range flights up into the mountains, because it was just him sitting on a seat with a camera facing him, and then his scratchy analog DVR of him flying up the mountain. Now, yes, there's jeopardy involved, so there's drama already baked in the situation, but there wasn't fast edits or fantastic epic music or anything like that. It was him sitting beside a river on a seat and the quad flying up the side of a mountain. And I mean, and we all know that, we all know his name and we've all watched his videos, and there's nothing compelling in the edits per se. It's the compulsion is in what he's actually doing.
It's the technical,
you don't need, Yeah, that's
and
it.
And the fact he lives in a beautiful
not
place.
As far as flying skill, but
well, this is it.
Yeah.
But you don't need to have that, GoPro 13, 10 or 12-bit color necessarily to make a video watchable. And you don't need to spend hours and hours and hours on a highly polished edit. It's the situation. I think if you just, what people, including myself, are just lacking is kind of that packaging to say, this is I upload DVR off the Whoops because I'm showing a technical aspect of the Whoop, 100 milliwatts a kilometer away. You don't need a highly edited
I
video
think as well.
for that.
I think.
Sorry,
Dave,
on the subject of. Sorry, on the subject of stabilization, not freestyle related. If you're reviewing a video system or something like that, or a product, then no, stabilization
100%.
should not be used. There's a clear line between what we're talking about of freestyle versus reviewing something.
Because you're not seeing the camera then, are you?
Yeah.
You're not seeing the stabilization. Yeah, I know what you mean.
We're not seeing the merit on something. Yeah.
Yeah. Same thing for like the camera too, is like don't do any post-processing. Take it, this is straight out of the camera, as they say, this is what it is, as it is. I didn't do any tweaks to it, because that's the purpose of it, is like to kind of see what the result of it is. But if you're doing something to present something kind of artsy or whatever, or creative, then use whatever tools are at your disposal.
Tiny Whoops are the interesting one, aren't they? Because you have to use DVR there. And I must say, some of the hasten to say the majority of videos that I'm watching recently have been tiny whoop videos. Most of them analog, actually. And, there you can be really artsy and entertaining with a tiny whoop. Goodness me. It's about the whole package, isn't it? No stabilisation in those, no fancy editing either, particularly. You know, it's...
Yeah. But sure, there's to the point where Radiohead have a song, and the music video is all shot from an analog.
I didn't know that, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember the song off the top of my head, but yeah, Radiohead. I mean, and we're talking what 6 years ago.
Oh wow.
Yeah, goodness. I'm a big Radiohead fan. I didn't know that.
I think it's Anthem. I think it's more than 6 years ago.
That's cool.
There's a famous actor in it. What's it called? There's it there.
Well,
Exit me? No, it's not that.
That's kind of like I don't know if you guys listen to Pink Floyd. You probably do, but they had a song way back. What was the? I can't remember the title of it, but they used a Commodore Amiga to do all of the audio basically in it. All the singing and stuff. Like it was speaking. They were using that as part of the.
It's a bit before my time.
This yeah.
I'll have to ask my parents.
Computerized. Yeah.
Yeah. But Regurgitator did the same kind of thing as well as Pink Floyd. They did that, old school kind of, running it through that. So,
yeah.
Oh, there's it there. Radiohead, Follow Me Around with Guy Pearce.
Yeah, did not. I'll have to check that
all
out.
shot from a tiny book.
And how long ago was it? What year was it?
He's just closed the window.
What year was it?
Oh, right. Good call.
Oh.
I just closed the window, yeah. 2 seconds. Follow.
Should we do a quiz? See if you can guess the year. I reckon 2009.
Yeah.
No, it must be after that, actually, with Tiny Moves.
I'm going to go...
No.
I'm going to go with
I think it was like
2016.
18.
Okay, 2019.
2021.
Oh.
2021.
Yeah,
wow.
fairly recently then.
Well, jeez. There you go. You're 5 years ago.
So what?
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what Tiny Whips are available 5 years ago?
Give that a watch.
What were you guys flying 5 years ago? Yeah, for sure.
It was all analog then. There was no digital.
Yeah,
It's
it was
still
all
the same kind of stuff, like the Beta FPV.
Were they made of
was
wood,
kicking
or
along
did we have
doing their
plastic
thing.
by then and carbon fiber?
You can get some pretty good video. You can get good video out of analog if you are recording directly from the camera and not, in the goggles.
Yeah.
You can. The onboard video is not that bad. It's like old school TV. It's not really that bad.
Remember the run cam split.
It's the interference and stuff that makes it really bad.
Yeah. But they came up with all the run cam split and stuff like that and all those kind of things.
Yeah, I've got one that I've been trying to get to work actually, but it doesn't seem to like recording in 4K for more than like a couple of minutes before it shuts down, unfortunately. And with it being your FPV camera too, that kind of freaks you out if you're using it.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
The Radiohead video was shot with a Tiny Hawk too.
There you go.
There we go.
So Emacs, interesting.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And again, that's the artistic. You could say, "Oh, that video's crap." How are you supposed to use that for high production Radiohead? multi-billion or $1 million band.
Oh yeah.
But
absolutely.
you lean into it and you use it for the artistic merit.
Yep.
And
I had a photographer friend. Well, still have a photographer friend, and he would get asked all the time, what camera you use and stuff, and he kind of got tired of it, and so he actually did a professional shoot with a very cheap consumer off-the-shelf, point-and-shoot camera, and people were like, "What camera did you use? Those shots are amazing." And he would tell them, and they're like, "You're lying." And he's like, "No," he's like, "The best camera you have is the camera that's with you." It's like, quit trying to, make it something that it's not. The skill is knowing how to use your equipment to its capability, whatever that is.
Yep, that's 100% it. I had this epiphany of going, cool, like I'm trying to get back into my freestyle heavily and start doing a couple of packs each day, and I've gone, I'm actually going to, like, because everyone's going on about PID tuning and stuff like this, and I know it's a bit off topic, but I'm like, I'm going to build 2 drones from scratch again, and I'm actually going to go, like, through the whole process and tune from beginning to end and build all correctly, not just thrown together like, you know, I used to go and build my TBS Source 1v2s or whatever they were, and, like, yeah. But, you know, the reason I want to do it is to compare the difference. That's it, you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, yeah. Anyway, we'll see what happens.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I guess then we've kind of gone through a couple of the topics there. I suppose a final closing question maybe would be, what advice would you give to someone who wants to become a better freestyle pilot? Given everything that we've discussed there, what do you think, Stacey? What advice would you give someone?
That's a good question. You know, I'm probably my worst critic. So I watch back stuff and I'll watch it. I'm like, this is terrible. I think for me to become better, you basically go out, you fly, you watch back what you've done, and watch it with the most critical eye you can, and look for, you know, some small aspect of something that you want to improve. So like you go out and you're doing some whatever trick it is. Let's say it was a split S, and you know, fly over the building and you want to do a split S and come back through the little gap in the building. Okay, go out, do that trick, watch it back later, and then look for all of the little things that you did wrong that you can improve. Find a couple of those and work on those, and then, you know, just do that with different things that you want to improve, whatever it is. If it's, you know, you want to have a smoother line, you want to do that, go watch back the footage and find all of the things that you did wrong that you can improve. Don't look at it like, oh, that's pretty good, you know. Be your worst critic, you know, absolute worst. It's probably not nearly as bad as you think it is, but be your absolute worst critic and find all the little things that you want to improve, and then go out and work on improving those little by little. The main thing, though, is just have fun with it. Whatever you're doing, you know, don't let it get you down. Yeah, be your worst critic, but also realize that you're being your worst critic, and, you know,
I think immerse yourself in the culture as well. You know, watch loads of videos, watch different pilots. You know, decide which sort of style you want to lean into. You know, don't be pigeonholed in thinking freestyle must be like you know, this, that, or the other. Because you know, like you said just then, Stacey, it's about having fun. You know, you gotta keep it fun, otherwise you'll just get so frustrated with it you'll want to do something else. You know. And the key is stick time, isn't it? You know?
Yeah.
That's the key.
Yep.
You stick with it, you'll get good.
Oh, yeah.
That's it, yeah.
Yep.
Dave?
I've only got 3 things, man. And number 1, adapt to your environment. We all don't have great bandos to fly around. We all don't have beautiful mountains to fly around. Like, adapt to your environment. Don't get caught up in thinking that this designer prop or this particular motor is going to give you all the answers and the things that you need. And be humble. Work with what you've got and be humble. That's about it. And just have fun. Do it for you, man. I mean, that's how 3D FPV started, was people improvising 100%. And having fun.
Yeah. I would agree. I would agree with those 3 points. Yeah. I would say lean into those 3 points even, you know, and let that become your style or your way of going, and have fun. I would say be more artistic. You know, it doesn't need to be a regimented set of skill tricks or a regimented particular look to your video. Just lean into the difference.
Yep.
That's kind of how I would do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, hey, that's us. That's our 3 topics and a closing question. Anybody have anything else they kind of want to bring up?
It's beautiful weather outside. I want to go fly my drones.
Nope. Have fun, stay safe, and be kind.
Yeah.
Be kind to other pilots.
Sure. Yeah.
Be honest.
Be kind.
Very true.
Okay, well, here on that note, then we'll see everybody next week. Once again, thanks Stacey, Tristan, and Dave for joining me today on the FPV Roundtable. See you next time.
See you guys.